So, what does a life coach do?
When I say that, we don't necessarily advise you on this, we just nudge you or probe a few questions so that you can come up with your best answer.
If I'm driving in the middle of the night, I have my Google Maps on, suddenly I lose the network and I don't know where to go now.
And how this happens in neuroscience is the dopamine release. Two very great researchers, which is, forget mothers also, they are the grandmothers of habits now.
And you have changed as a person, you've changed professions. If I ask you what were a few habits that you formed that helped you become the person that you are today?
I think bad habits are just compensations of an unfulfilled need.
If I go on to play against Sania Mirza, she's gonna kill me on the court.
Even if you come back 2 steps behind, you're still 3 steps ahead of your zero.
So, hi guys, thanks for tuning in today's episode. Today, I bring you my dear friend Dhiraa Shah. So, Dhira is someone I've known for a year now, and she's the coolest person you'll ever meet. But today, she's here for a certain purpose, and that is to help us to know how to build habits. We all have a lot of goals, and ultimately, the goal comes down to the daily ritual that we do. So, building habits is an aspect that we need to focus on a lot. Dhira, who has excelled in career as a lawyer, as a speaker, today she has become a life coach and she's going to explain to us what are certain tools and techniques that we can use to make our life easy and to build and stick to certain habits that can change our lives. So make sure you watch this episode till end and share it with all of your friends. Thank you. Hi, so welcome everyone. Today's brand new episode we have Dhiraa Shah and I'm going to ask her to introduce herself to us.
Thank you so much, first of all, for having me.
It's a pleasure.
So, about me. Okay, I have two names first, just to mention. And I was called Dwani before my marriage, and now I am Dhira. Or you could call me a life coach, Dhira. And honestly speaking, I've pursued 2, 3 studies. So the first degree that I got was my bachelor's in management. Then I pursued law. I practiced law for good 1.5 year before COVID hit, and the courts had become miserable. Setting that aside, I got married.
Okay.
And I just wanted to look after the family, my husband, since it was an arranged marriage setup. I really wanted to give my family some time, getting to know them, they wanting to know me. And there was basically, I couldn't go back to the courts after that. Of course, a lot of it came from the fear of spreading COVID also, because there were a lot of files, papers, and everything involved. And then once upon a time, I think a time came in my life where I really felt very lonely in spite of having my husband around, my family around, and everybody around. I think I missed sharing a lot of things to my friends because both of my best friends were away. So that very comfort, that immediate comfort that you seek was missing in my life. And I got reconnected to a school friend who was then a life coach. And I got into sessions with her and she nudged me to my mentor.
So, what does a life coach do?
Basically, a life coach is an accountability partner that you have for a particular project. Okay, so when you say therapy and when you say counseling, all of that depends on your problems. Whereas life coaching helps you basically achieve your goals, whatever goals you have, whatever problems are coming in your way to achieve that goal, to solve that and help you get to your goal quicker. So that's what a life coach does. So people ask me that, we don't have any problem. Why should we come to a life coach? And then I can tell them that, do you want to evolve in life? Forget having a problem or whatever. If, say, for you, if you, when I think we were just talking about the job and you had a typical expression on your face, assuming that you're not too happy. And I see that this podcast is what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
but something is stopping you from sort of leaving your job
Hmm.
and to do this full time. It could be a practical problem of, just getting the bills paid,
Yeah.
or it could be a problem of courage, or it could be a problem of fear, or something might be limiting, you in sorts of taking that step ahead. What we do as a life coach is get you out of there, make you, help you make better decisions that you need to take to achieve your goals. And when I say that, we don't necessarily advise you on this, we just nudge you or probe a few questions so that you can come up with your best answer in your life. Because I don't feel the answers are obviously they're variable to every subject or every person. So I think that's what is a little difference between a therapy and a coach or a life coach. So that's what it is basically.
So from what I understand, it's like if I'm driving in the middle of the night, I have my Google Maps on, suddenly I lose the network and I don't know where to go now. So I can ask a life coach in that particular when I'm timed out
Yes,
from my
yes,
network.
yes. In fact, good that you brought this up because my courses are named after this. So, one of my courses is called the Life Navigator.
Okay, it's cool.
We first introspect where you are, and then we decide where you want to go and what is the best, optimum, fastest route for you to be there. Of course, that's going to have a lot of problems. It might just sound it like that, but we help you solve each problem. There are going to be speed breakers in your ways, there are going to be tunnels, there are going to be some dead ends. You never know. As in, when we move forward, we try and solve each and everything, hand holding you, basically. So you have an accountability partner throughout of that project, basically.
That's great. Whenever we speak about goals or systems, one thing that comes to my mind is consistency. You like, for example, I'm someone who makes a lot of New Year's resolution. I have like a vision board on every wall of my room. And now on 1st July, I was so depressed that I have achieved nothing. But the goals are not gonna get achieved on their own, right? You
Yeah.
need to put in the work, and the work doesn't happen overnight. It has to be a daily process.
Yes.
So that's when the habits come into the picture, right? So today I want you to specifically speak about habits. I'm sure we can discuss different themes, different other aspects of a growth process of any individual. But I think habits is something which everyone struggles with. I am a big sports fan and I love PV Sindhu. And I just admire her for her work ethic. I mean, playing consistently throughout these Olympics, winning different medals, competing at world level at such a consistent manner. It's amazing. And her schedule looks like she wakes up at 3:30, has a training session till lunch, has breakfast at particular time. They will have similar foods, like even Virat Kohli has only baked chicken and sauteed veggies throughout a season of IPL, like spoken so much about. So why are these people able to maintain and form these habits so easily? Is it just because they are so passionate about their goals, or what is it that sets them apart from people like me who struggle every day to just wake up on time?
Okay. So let me get this clear. First of all, we as human beings form habits or want to develop habits on goals. Okay. And if I could just ask you, what is your goal?
Oh, I need to lose weight.
Exactly. Now, the goal should have been that I want to be fit. Okay. And why, these statements could be the same, but how it affects your neuroplasticity is basically the increase in the dopamine. Okay, let me just explain this to you a little better. Okay, when you say that, okay, fine, I want to lose 10 kilos. First of all, the stress that it gets to your body and your brain that I have to lose something. Okay, it's like so we call it the push effect.
Okay.
Okay, and when we say I want to become a fit person, it's the pull effect. You automatically get motivated to do something. And how this happens in neuroscience is the dopamine release actually predicts how fast you're going to adapt to an habit. When we set or when we are trying to build habits, what we need to do is, rather than goal setting habits, we need to have habits related to our identity. If you think, you spoke about PV Sindhu, you spoke about Virat Kohli. Now, you wouldn't want to form habits per se, like he's eating roasted chicken or whatever in his lunch or whatever. What you're seeking here is the success of that sports person
Yeah.
and the sports person himself, right? That's the figure actually you're looking at. His habits could be anything. Do you know Warren Buffett?
Yeah.
The
Great investor and millionaire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know he used to have Coca-Cola every day? Now there are two kinds of people, okay? Hardworking, if we say right now is the culture. Now we know everything about like the 5 a.m. club and waking up early and things like that. But don't you agree, for the person who sleeps at 4 o'clock working so hard is also going to achieve success?
Yes.
So why are we not talking about that?
So you're saying that you should customize your goals as per your personality or
100%.
as per your probability to keep a habit running.
100%. 100%. I think there could be a similarity in, people who are successful and their habits, but it's always about the journey. It's basically about the journey. Of course, forming habits itself has a lot of things to do with good sleep, your nutrition, moving your body, learning. We say reading all the time. But now in today's world, not a lot of people would want to still read. They would listen to a podcast like this and learn, right? So I look at it as learning more than just reading. So these 3-4 things is a good lifestyle. Okay, and what you attract. Okay, so again, the dopamine that we were talking about. When you achieve something, when you eat healthy, you have that sense of a responsibility of being fit, whether you are or no. You know, eventually you're getting there. Maybe not right now. That itself releases a certain amount of dopamine into you. And that's how habits are formed.
So if I were just to simplify all of this for our viewers, uh, when you are in a state of mental stress or pressure, that's not the time where your habit will get automatically formed. But if you're happy or more comfortable in your skin, like you said about dopamine, it's a happy hormone, right? So if you're in that state, maybe you will have a better chance at getting your goal, getting your habit.
Not necessary. Some people work out of pressure and they work better in that state. So that is very subjective. I just like to believe that, of course, people might have read a lot of books on the power of habit or the atomic habits by James Clear and Charles Duhigg. And when I talk about Charles Duhigg or James Clear, who's written the Atomic Habits, or we just like to call two very great researchers, which is Philippa Lawley, and there's one more, Wendy Woods, Dr. Wendy Woods. These are two, I think, forget mothers also. They are the grandmothers of habits now.
Okay.
So, and what I have seen is, sometimes the neuroscience of a subject and the psychology part of the subject might differ. The studies might differ. But when you will study habits and habit formation or breaking a certain habit or sticking to a certain habit, in neuroscience and psychology of the habit formation or breaking of habits, it's all the same. Just fancy words in neuroscience, and psychology is based on the behavioral patterns of a human being. So I think it all boils down to that for me. And when you say setting a habit, I think identifying where you are right now. First of all, I would just ask a particular person, why would you want to form habits? I think there should be only two reasons to form habits. One is to make your life easier, or you're not happy where you are and you want to change something about it. And for successful people, or for you and me, everything boils down to habits.
So let's take this very relatable example. That's your example. You have grown so much in last few years, 2 years, I guess,
Yeah.
and you have changed as a person. You've changed professions, but even as a person, you have changed a lot.
100%. Yeah.
So if I ask you, what were a few habits that you formed that helped you become the person that you are today?
Okay. So, coming to my own life experience, I was myself trying to lose the extra kilos that I easily gained 8 to 10 kilos after my marriage. Okay. And so it so happened that I used to go to yoga. I used to do a lot of other kinds of activities, home workouts and Pilates at home and everything, just to lose that 10 kilos. So me and my partner, my husband, we are trying to, basically plan a baby sometime soon. And I just realized that the mother and the father both, they need to be healthy even during the conceiving period. And it's not like healthy now. Actually, what does healthy even mean? Like a consistency in health.
Right.
And that affecting the baby was the main thing for me that drived that dopamine into me,
Okay.
that motivation. So getting fitter for a bigger purpose than just losing weight helped me. And I don't really like to believe that there is a bad habit or a good habit per se. I think bad habits are just compensations of an unfulfilled need. You call it smoking, you call it drinking. I still, till date, have the habit of biting my nails. The nails plus the skin of my fingers.
It's a stress response, I would say.
Yeah, it is. And every time I used to do that, my mother used to slap, means hit on my hand while I was, biting. Now, this I got to know through my own experience that that was not required. What was required now, if we say that it's a compensation to my unfulfilled need, the need that I had while I was biting my nails or my skin was feeling anxious or overthinking about something or being nervous or not being comfortable. So I have a friend, her name is Rochelle, and she very swiftly, what she does is holds my hand when I'm doing, whenever we're discussing something and I'm just subconsciously biting my nails. And she'll be like, give me your hand. And she'll be like, what? And then she'll try to talk to me about something which comforts me. That is fulfilling my need during that time. I will automatically stop biting nails.
Okay, so let's break down the process of like habit formation. Tomorrow, I want to start my fitness journey and I need to work out for 45 minutes. I need to eat healthy food. So these are my two goals that I have set for myself for next 30 days. So now how do I go about it? Because the if I get up in the morning, I'll have different things. I'll check my social media. I'll have definitely some kind of an emergency to cater to. And I'm gonna put off my gym. Trainer's gonna have some emergency, and gym's gonna be not working. Some or the other thing is gonna come up. So how do I make sure that I put in those 45 minutes? Like,
Okay. The first thing, like I said, let's take you as a case study. Okay. What I'm trying to do here is, first of all, what is the bigger picture that you want to achieve this for?
so I need to be fit for my next mountaineering expedition.
Wonderful. That really sounds like an identity goal rather than just losing
Yeah.
weight, right? Now, again, whoever you take, any big researcher, big or small, in habit formation, has these 3 steps throughout. One or two might just add on to one or two here and there, breaking down these 3 things only, which is the cue, the trigger. The second is the new behavior, and the third is the reward. Okay, now what we do is the cue is basically the trigger to the new behavior. The trigger is not for you to stick to the earlier habit. The earlier habit of Kalyani would be just maybe not going to the gym or feeling lazy or just scrolling or just thinking that too much rains. I don't want to get into the whole
Yeah.
process of going to the
So for
gym.
example, I decided I came back from work 6:30 and at 7 I need to join gym. 7 I'm gonna go every day now, 7 p.m. But I have a habit of watching MasterChef Australia at 7 p.m. So now how does your system fit into this situation?
First of all, the trigger that I'm talking about is the trigger to do the new behavior. So, what you do is maybe put your clothes already on the bed, have simple sticky notes that you, and sticky notes shouldn't be about the habit that you're going to do. It's always supposed to do about the identity goal that you've set.
Okay, so I shouldn't say I need to lose weight, so take your take yourself in the gym. I should rather say I have an expedition coming up, so this is a cost I want to pay for getting that better experience somewhere on down this line, right? Yeah.
Why do we have vision boards? Vision boards is the ultimate goal, right? It's never like the immediate goal that we want to have or fulfill. Likewise, you should think of, okay, fine, Kalyani wants to do this particular thing, and that's why she needs to be fit. So, all the sticky notes or all the motivation that comes from that is far more superior as a motivation than you just thinking that, no, I need to go to the gym. And the biggest myth, I think, in the habit formation is that if you break the chain of habits, the habits are not formed. And I don't understand this logic anyway. I just like to believe, even apart from habits, ever in growth, if you're walking 3 steps ahead and coming back 2 steps behind, you're still 1 step ahead in life.
That's right.
So, why are we sort of punishing us for maybe missing 1 day of gym or whatever that case could be in your habit formation? But stop punishing yourself. Rather, reward yourself for doing that same thing.
Okay. So in this case, what can be the reward for me?
It has to be again in support of you going to the gym. Okay, it can never. I don't understand how people reward themselves by eating a cupcake. I'm going to the gym and now I need to reward myself. Let's go and have a cheat meal. It's ultimately the contradiction of your own habit. You're trying to confuse your brain.
Yeah. So it can be something like I'll buy a new gear.
Yeah.
If I do 30 days non-stop streak of gym going, I shall buy definitely a pair of new boots.
Yeah, new
Yeah.
boots or maybe a gym t-shirt or
Yeah.
my protein shaker or something that's again motivating you to do that and keeping you in the system of that habit. So we spoke about the cue. Okay. Now the cue also should be very simple for you to do. The cue shouldn't be again a big thing that you usually don't do. Means it should be simple and easy for you to perform. If, for example, if you had to drive 1 hour to reach to your gym, that itself, it's not going to be possible unless you cannot. I mean, there's no gym around your area and you stay remote in some particular place and things like that. But otherwise, just make it simple. The triggers and the cues should be simple. This next step that we have is think of the new behavior. Now, the new behavior again should be according to you. So, the cue, the new behavior, and the reward. These are the basic. You pick up any book, you pick up any podcast, you pick up any research, is going to tell you these 3 steps for you to form a habit. Of course, there are a lot of tools that can help and aid you how to easily be able to do these 3 things apart from the steps, of course. And but yeah, these are the basically 3 steps for you.
And I think about the new behavior part that you mentioned. It reminds me of this concept called Goldilocks Principle.
Okay.
Okay, so it's basically based on the story of Goldilocks. Like the forest should not be too hot, should not be too cold, whatever. So your goal should not be too easy for you, or should not be too hard for you to achieve. or a habit. For example, if tomorrow I decide I'm going to train like PV Sindhu, she trains for 6 hours, that's not going to happen for me. Okay, so to take an example of tennis, so if tomorrow I play against my 5-year-old nephew, I'm going to win all points without any effort. One day I'll feel good, we are having fun. If I have to do it for 30 days, it's not going to happen. I'm going to get bored.
Correct.
If I go on to play against Sania Mirza, she's going to kill me on the court. So I will not be motivated to that, right?
Correct.
But if I'm a beginner, you're a beginner, we're playing, starting a journey together, we are probably on the same level of the skill, then we challenge each other to improve. So that is the correct opponent for me if I want to achieve a growth sort of a situation, or to continue playing tennis for longer. I went to the gym for like 5 days, but now some or the other thing happened. I couldn't go. But now I'm sad because I have lost the progress of 5 days. You mentioned that you shouldn't be hard on yourself and one day doesn't take away the progress. But in that particular moment, what should I be telling myself, Because I feel that whatever I achieved by becoming this different person altogether, that was the growth that I could feel.
I think this itself, for me, has worked out in all the kind of situations: 3 steps forward, 2 steps backwards. I'd like to tell you one more thing. I wanted 6 packs for myself. And when I say that I wanted a baby, I'm going to grow. My stomach is going to grow. Where are my 6 packs going to be? But that's not stopping me, because after a research, I just got to know that the muscles are going to, recover much more once I've built it already. For example, for a person who's had 6 packs, okay, and now for whatever damn reason, they've lost it. That particular person, it's going to be easier to have those 6 packs again with lesser effort than any other person who's going to start from scratch. So you're anyway ahead of where you started from.
Yeah.
Right? You started from 0. And if you've gone to the gym 5 days, at least you've taken those 5 steps.
Yes.
Even if you come back 2 steps behind, you're still 3 steps ahead of your 0. So, of course, if you go 5 days and if you don't go 10 days, that's going to make a difference. Then you've lost it. Then you again need to rewire your brain and just, get into the habit of forming that habit again. Make it more visible. Track your habits. I remember me having a huge, paper where I used to check. And, checking also releases dopamine.
Yes.
I know me and my friends, when we used to study law had huge books for us to study. And like any other student, we were all last minute, learning people. 3 days before the exam, or maybe
You're always cramming.
Yeah, always. Even if we had like a month to study. And then what we used to do is make a list of whatever things we need to learn. And once we were done, that scratch, that was so satisfying. If you've ever experienced ticking a box that you wanted to do and being able to do that ticking of box, I don't know what, but it is another level of satisfaction which releases dopamine. And it is just signaling your neurons and your nerve cells that something has changed. And you like this something. And you want to do this something again.
So even if you have like a bad day or you skip a day, the progress is still there, even though you can't see it. And you're going to eventually see it on day 21. That's what you're trying to say. Right?
Yeah. And even if you've lost it, just get back to, forming that habit again.
But you should also try to make it easier for yourself to build that habit.
Yeah.
Find your habit and find the ways that make work for you the best. Because ultimately you're trying to be the best version of yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you.
Thank you
coming
so much.
Here and just and how do people reach out to you in case they want?
I think you can maybe have the link to my Instagram.
Yeah. It will be linked in the description.
Yes.
She's accessible on Instagram. That's where
Yes.
she puts her wisdom out through reels.
Yeah.
So please make sure you follow her. What's your handle? Life Coach Dira.
Lifecoach.Dhirash.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Life Coach Dira Shah. It was pleasure having you.
It was the pleasure was all mine, and me talking about habits is just got me so much because it all comes from my experience apart from the knowledge, of course, of the psychology. So it's wonderful that I have lived that experience, had my own journey, and I'm able to teach something that I've always practiced. And I've had my bad days too, like everybody's had, and the difficulties of forming those habits. But understanding from where it came, I think life coach Dhira has helped Dhira to, understand from where it all came and to just, curate all of this to help me form those habits or break habits.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing your journey with us.
Yes.